Evening. Normally I say morning, chainsaw lovers. It's evening. I'm down at the beach by my house where I live. The ferries from here run from Departure Bay, this is Departure Bay, to Vancouver, to the big cement city over there. My gal Shelly, and I mentioned here in my last video, and I guess you guys probably figured out, she's my girlfriend, and my daughter's Taylor. This is my favorite place to come. I come here and sit here at night, and it's so beautiful. This creek here is the Departure Bay Creek. It runs down from this golf course and all this community here down to here, and it's just beautiful. Fresh water into the salt water. That over there is a little island called, I believe it's called James Island. There's got a house on it, and it's has one resident on it. This is Newcastle Island. This is a small island. There used to be, in the years gone by, there used to be a rock quarry on there. And they used to take the rock from that island and build buildings with it, like down in San Francisco and stuff. Hello.
Yeah.
So that was a long time ago, and people don't realize that, but it's had some unique, I'm not sure what the type of rock was. I believe it was like a quartz type marble maybe, but they used it, they used to ship a lot down to the US for big buildings down in San Francisco and stuff. So yeah, there's the Departure Bay Ferry, and there's a kind of an inlet all the way down there that goes past a bunch of the boat marinas, now my yacht club and stuff. Then it goes down to a little island called Protection Island, which is part of the city still, and they people obviously live there. There's quite a few houses over there. It's just a small one compared to this Newcastle Island. This Newcastle Island is really cool. I remember going there as a kid, and there used to be some albino raccoons on there. I remember seeing one years ago when I was a child, sleeping in my tent with Boy Cubs and Boy Scouts or whatever. But yeah, nice night tonight. It's with our time change, we got some light now, which is cool. I live just up the hill here, just behind that 7-Eleven and a sports field there. So my view from my house, I can basically see that. So that's pretty sweet, eh? Yeah, it's nice. So this morning I did a video, and I was porting, but I wanted to tell people, like, when I'm porting, like, when I'm doing it, like, my tools are pretty cool and good, the best you can get, and using that flapper whipper there and stuff, like, it radiuses and takes care of the sharp edges on the porch. You didn't notice me in there doing anything else with them, eh? And I wish I could have edited it and showed you that, but I just don't know how to do that, but I'll learn. So when I do that with the sandpaper strip on that jig, or my tool jig there, I really work that corner and make sure that it's got no sharp edges. I don't want rings hanging up or anything like that. And I darn it, I only wrecked one this year. I did a 661 for a fella down in the US, and I'm sorry I didn't do it right, and I was overlooked it. And I knew when I did it, I thought, you know what? It's gonna catch a ring. And I shifted anyways, and I shouldn't have. The guy only made a couple cuts, but I went good for it, of course. You know, why would I charge someone for something that I wrecked? You know, he doesn't have a warranty from Still, but I have my own warranty. I don't really need it, but, you know, if you get one or two out of the year, it's not a big deal to friggin' take care of it. But I don't usually wreck them. So I just wanted to say that, you know, like, I just, you know, the way I was doing it there this morning, I wish I could edited that video so I could have said that stuff. And then how I trim my pistons, and I use that little sander cone thing to smooth all the edges on it. And so I use that one on my third grinder to, you know, smooth them up and stuff like that and whatnot. Yeah, so kind of wanted to comment on that. So life's pretty good right now. Like you guys know, I said on another video, my birthday's coming up next Friday. I'm gonna go kart racing, and yes, I got the GoPro camera. I scored a GoPro camera. I'm gonna put on my helmet, and then when I go around the track, I'm gonna show you guys how that two-stroke works, man. It's pretty cool. It's called a Rock engine. It's like they have a series in the US and Canada called the Rock series, and powerful motors, yeah. And my dad's gonna come with me that day, which is really cool. You know, obviously he started me in the racing when I was young, 11 years old, something like that, and he's gonna be able to come with me and help me out. So years ago, my dad, we had our first kart. We went to the first race. We had an A-bone chassis, I think it was called. Might not be correct on that, but we had the 91B1 engine, and it had a starter pulley on the starter side, or the flywheel side of the motor. We had a pulley on there, and my dad would use a V-belt to a chainsaw, an SB81 McCulloch. Gotta have McCulloch chainsaw starting the McCulloch kart engine, right? So he would stand there, man, put his foot on my bumper and pull back like crazy to start this thing. It had so much compression, but then we get going, eh? And I think at that time we were running Burco clutches, like a wet clutch that had like fiber shoes in it. Kind of weird, man. The early clutches weren't all that great, but hey, they worked if you kept them up in shape, right? And knew how to adjust them. You actually had weights on the shoes of the clutches, and the weights on the shoes, you could make them slip more. So you want to get on, maybe if you're running a tuned pipe, you'd be able to get the RPM up to that pipe better. See, tuned pipes always work better at a certain RPM range if they're designed that way. Where if you're running just an open box pipe or a round muffler like McCulloch's used to have, well, then it wouldn't really matter. You don't have that tuned pipe effectiveness, so it didn't really matter. So you just basically had a clutch that would run properly. It would idle, and you could stop and idle and then go again, right? Or some people ran direct drive years ago, which is weird. You know what's a funny thing? Watch some videos of Don Knotts. Remember Don Knotts, the actor? That guy raced go-karts, and there's some publicity old videos of him racing go-karts down in California, wherever the heck he was. But so funny to watch it. And my dad reminds me of Don Knotts. Like, he's kind of like the same sort of like attitude and like look. He's tall, skinny, and he's just a really nice, funny guy, right? And yeah, kind of neat. Someone just told me about that a while ago, and I watched it all. I was like, oh my God, that's so funny, man. But tomorrow, yeah, I told you guys this morning, I'm going to work on my go-karts. But I'm going to Victoria, and I just found out, my one friend in Victoria, I forgot I left a McCulloch kart engine in his garage years ago with a mount. And the mount fits that Margay frame that I have, an old vintage frame that I have. So I'm actually going to be able to build my vintage go-kart, which is cool. So, and I do plan, once this COVID stuff gets rid of, to go to the US to some vintage outings, vintage kart racing, and participate, of course, and to show off some stuff that I have that they'd be interested in, like my racing chainsaws and a couple old things. I'd just take them along just to show them off, man. You know, because I like history and I like old stuff. And that McCulloch guys, man, they are so ahead of their time. And my buddies, I have some old buddies that used to race McCulloch's road racing years ago down in Portland, and what's that one in California? Laguna Seca, Seattle. They used to race what we call enduro racing, which is like a lay-down type kart. You kind of lay down in this friggin' thing. Some of them had two engines, and some of them had one that were very powerful. these guys are hitting over 100 miles an hour in these little go-karts, man. And I've hit over 100 miles an hour in a go-kart, but in a sprint type. The sprint type are the one you sit up more in, and you race on small courses with, like, 9 or 10 turns, right? But in the enduro racing, you race on road courses like you do with Indy cars and stuff. So that was a little bit different. I only did it once. I did it once at Westwood Raceway in Vancouver. Westwood Raceway used to be in the top hill of Port Coquitlam, and I was lucky enough to at least go on that track once and race with my sprint kart with a I think I ran a Yamaha. Yeah, Yamaha. And it was fun. Road courses are so much different. The sprint races where you're like, man, there's like 20 of you, and you're going to hit the first corner. You want to hit the first corner first, of course, to hold everyone back, right? But it's like a fight. It's like a friggin', I don't know, like a rodeo. Not a rodeo. What am I saying that for? You know what I mean, though? It's like you only got 10 laps, so you got to keep sure you're in front. You know what I mean? But in an enduro race, what they do is like race for like an hour. So when you race for like an hour on a track, you might have a pit stop or two, but normally you're gonna just bide your time and make sure you keep your motor working. People have asked me with those old McCulloch Kart engines, like, well, what did they rev and how did you do it? I'm like, I don't know what they rev. We never had any tachometers in those days. We just made them so when you went down the straightaway, you ran them a little bit rich, or just a little bit past that, just so they start to whine a bit. And you hope for the best, man. It was just the way it was. So you might scorch a few, but now today you got all this telemetry, man. You got you can like go out in the track and it'll tell you like every shift point you did with a shifter kart, temperature, RPM, corner speed, all this stuff, right? So you can improve a lot with that, eh? But in the old days, you just did it by feel. Now, if you ever watch a movie, Carol Shelby, I think that's the movie, Carol Shelby, and that English dude, man, that was the driver. That guy was incredible. That guy, they had all this computer stuff in his cars and stuff, and he's like, you guys just rip that out, please? Because I know going into that corner, this car needs to be lighter, and we need to change this front end suspension by about 2 degrees to this or whatever. That guy was so smart. And he ended up, I believe, dying in a crash. But he was an incredible driver. Too bad I can't remember the name, but watch the movie. I believe it's the Carol Shelby experience, or the Ford versus Ferrari, maybe, or something. I don't know, I'm bad at remembering movies. But anyways. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of say that tonight about that, my video with the porting. I just, I'm just trying to show, like, the do's and the don'ts. And the do's are obviously better than the don'ts. I've wrecked a few. It happens. Who said that? Forrest Gump. It happens. He made a lot of money from that or something. That guy with the t-shirt. Remember that? That was funny. So, anyways, it's getting dark now. And I'm home alone. Kind of sad, Shelly and Taylor. But whatever. I'm going to head home and watch a movie, maybe. I think I'm going to watch a James Bond movie tonight. I haven't watched one for a long time. Maybe I can find one on Crave or something. One of those channels that I pay friggin' outrageous cable prices for. Yeah, you cable companies, you guys all charge way too much. So anyways, keep your saw in the wood. Not in the ocean. Or in the driftwood. Well, why not in the driftwood if you can get some? There's almost enough wood on this beach right now. I could build a log cabin and be able to live in it. So yeah. Okay, over and out. Thanks for watching.